Another neat thing about this engine is Mark's choice in hardware. So these are the studs, both the head stud and the main stud, and they both use a bull nose. So as this stud is installed into the engine block, it bottoms out and doesn't put stress on the threads until the threads are tightened up. So if you look at your instructions on your ARP, it says don't over tighten the studs. The studs go into the block hand tight. It's because as you run up on this top thread and you run out of thread, it can actually cock the stud in a direction where it's not neutral in the engine block before you tighten it. But a bullnose kind of protects you from that because it just bottoms in the block. And then when you go to tighten the hardware up, it's evenly applying force across the threads instead of having it tighten down in the block where it can cock the stud in the block as you tighten it up. If you haven't seen this stud before, this is a pretty killer part. It's a 9/16 bottom, 1/2 inch top. And when you get a big bottom like this, you get these big roots in the large thread. So this stud being larger on the bottom and smaller on the top, it makes for a better stud, because when you do break a stud, if you're able to break a stud through over torquing it or whatever, they'll break in this area here. And when you have a stud that is big on the bottom and small on the top, it opens you up for just a stronger piece of hardware, because the amount of material through the minor of the thread is just larger. It's just a bigger part. But you don't have to remove, you wouldn't want to remove to 9/16 through the casting, because you're directly taking away from material that's helping that column of aluminum cram down on the stud to hold the gasket in place.